Hello and welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Phil Hill, and this month we're going to review the recently completed spring sports schedule. And as always, we're pleased to have the Supervisor of Athletics for East Brunswick Schools, Frank Noppenberger. Frank, welcome to Sports Talk.
Philip, thank you, and it's my pleasure. And again, on behalf of all our coaches, parents, kids, thank you to you and for TV3 for everything they do for high school sports at East Brunswick.
Okay. I've kept up a little bit with the spring sports schedule, and we got some numbers. 66% overall winning percentage. And
not bad.
Not bad, down from the 83%, 85% that we're sort of used to.
Right. Well, the couple sports didn't have the year we thought, but volleyball picked us up, golf picked us up, girls track picked us up, so, you know, it evens out.
Okay, let's start with baseball. Tom Hawkins-Joss, a tough season, 6-14 this year.
You know, for years I've been saying, you know, you get in a slump during the baseball season at the wrong time, Phil, and, you know, you're in trouble. Like the Yankees, you have a couple bad weeks and you're in trouble. Now, we were 6-14, and I would say that 20 games, 17 of those games, we were in those games right to the end. 2 of those wins were against St. Joe's and South Brunswick. We had Edison, who was in the sectional finals to the wire. We hit the ball well against Spotswood. So we're in the games. But there was just a slump at the wrong time. But, you know, it was real fun working with the baseball group and the players, the coaches, and certainly the booster club. They really do a good job supporting the kids. You know, I mentioned it to him at the banquet. You know, it's easy when you're undefeated to be a booster and to be a parent and to go to the games and cheer the kids on and walk around all puffy. Right. But, you know, when you're struggling and you still see them there, that means something, you know, that you're a real, you love your kid, you love the school, you love the sport. So, you know, I thank the parents of the booster and the booster club of baseball helping out. But, you know, we had a good year. We had the Fisher kid. You're familiar with him. Right. He led the team with hitting, I think, like 354. And Galushi was one of our most improved players. So we'll be all right next year. I think we got to find a couple pitchers maybe to replace Aaron Way, who did a great job for us. But baseball, when the weather gets nice, the seasons are over, you know, and it's we got to figure something out about that. But not disappointed. I wish we had a better record, but it wasn't as a result of no effort.
Well, things are cyclical. You know that. It was just 2005 when they were GMC champs, right?
And the year before, they were in the finals.
Okay,
right?
So they're there all the time. And can you remember another year when in the county, Middlesex County, where we had such outstanding baseball teams?
Yeah, Middlesex County softball, baseball is pretty good. Probably doesn't get the recognition throughout the state in the past, maybe now. Softball's always been terrific, but now baseball with a couple of the teams going real far, it will. Okay,
very good. We can go to boys golf, bow hitting. Your record says 11-1, mine says 12-1.
It may have been printed up before yours. We'll check that out.
Okay.
Boys golf. We don't play a lot. Bo wants a lot of practice rather than playing. You'll look at You'll look in the paper and you'll see a lot more victories. Bo doesn't want a lot. He wants a lot of practice because, as I've told you many times, he's a real teacher of the game. And we had our sights on the state tournament championship. That was their goal.
That was the goal.
And they were disappointed. You know, they won the division, undefeated in the division. They won the conference. And, you know, they were very pleased with that. But they were a little disappointed in not making the states and qualifying. Our buddy Gene Yang came back.
He came back.
He came back and did a good job for us. Steve Quay did a good job. And one of Bo's favorite is Andy Heiberger. So we'll be strong again next year. We'll be real good in golf. And it doesn't happen by accident. Those kids are out in the golf course today. They'll be there tomorrow. And they really work at the game. Yeah. Just like basketball and any other sport.
Sounds like a good bunch of kids. Heiberger, big kid, powerful kid. I understand he finally got his short game together, so everything came together. I tell you, Yang coming back, I guess he went to Florida and came back, and that certainly helped the team. Home News Player of the Year last year. Right. But I like what Bo Henning had to say about Quay. He said, this is a kid that's all-state in both the piano and the strings, and he said just a great kid, and he said that his parents should write a book on parenting. That's a nice thing for a coach to say.
And
you know.
it's just a wonderful kid, and
Yeah.
to be so talented,
Yeah.
to be such a talent, kind of like you.
Yeah, sort of like me. We had some others, Ryan Lewis, Kafafian?
Right.
Kafafian, Ben Rosen, and Mike Casey, who were honorable mention. So we
area.
want to recognize them as well. But Bo Henney, once again, his boys doing a good job. What about the girls golfing under Reggie Carney?
See, the state has a state tournament, but it's not as organized as the boys, and it's still putting teams together. And there is no conference, and you've got to make up your own schedule. And the head coach is Reggie Carney, who is retiring from golf this year.
He is.
Yep, he's coached his last golf game at East Brunswick. We wish him well.
Just a great coach.
Carn, he started the golf program here, women's, and has brought it to the level we're at. We're one of the, well-known in the area. And like always, Reggie wanted to schedule the best teams. So although the record is 8-7, we were as good as anyone. We're just short a couple of kids, but under his guidance, the program has really come a long way. Catherine Fitzgerald had a good year for us. Deanna Hoffman was our MVP, Elisa Cho and Jennifer Chen, kids who really put the time in with Reggie. It's just a matter of time where our girls golfers are as good as the boys.
Okay, is Reggie still in the school system?
Reggie's got a couple more days of teaching left.
Couple more days.
All right, why don't you come up, say hello?
I definitely will.
Yeah.
God bless him. Good. Okay, softball, Kevin Brady, 16-10. Nice job.
Again, in every game to the end. The 10 losses were all hard luck losses. We had a real good year. We made some noise. We beat some big people, the big guns. We beat Stevens twice, and we played with everyone. We didn't back down. Middletown South was a big win for us in the States. Then we went down and lost by 1 run to Montgomery in a great game. So the question is, softball again. You get colds at the wrong time, or you don't get the right hit, you're in trouble. But Coach Brady does a good job. He and his staff, they work the kids, and they really make them play to their potential. And Amanda Singer's our outstanding pitcher. She'll be graduating. Wow. We're going to miss her.
Super job.
Marissa Della Valle is what a great story. As a sophomore, she played some JV, JV player, and she worked last year, did a little DH, and this year she's like maybe our best offensive player.
Wow.
By just hanging in there and working at it. Carrie Wan, W-A-N, a great defensive player for us. And Samantha is a young kid who played a lot of positions and also a pitcher for us. A lot will depend on her pitching next year, but I guess one of the other bright spots is Melanie Morrison, a catcher, who had 2 big homers. In a big game for us. I think it was Montgomery, but no, I said we lost to them. Getting confused.
That's okay.
But she'll be good. She's like that on road to be like an all-state player.
And softball's popularity, it's nice to see it on ESPN, the championships and whatnot. And as you know, a big part of the game is pitching. And if you got a star pitcher like East Brunswick had this year, it can make all the difference.
Amanda will be like all area, all conference. She's, I think, the starting pitcher in the All-Star game, which is tomorrow night.
Wow, good. Wow, super. Okay, boys lacrosse, Matt Severino. Okay, 4-9.
But, it was one of those... lost to South Brunswick, who was a power by 1 goal. Right. Lost by a couple goals to North Brunswick. Twice lost to Old Bridge by 1 goal. Matt's quote at his banquet, and their parents do a great job too, was our best days are ahead of us. He said, we have set the foundation for boys lacrosse in this town with the feeder system, with the JV kids now. Now our JV kids know lacrosse.
Okay.
A few years ago, they didn't know lacrosse. We were teaching them how to throw and catch. Now they come in knowing lacrosse. So he feels we're really on the right track, and he's the type of guy that can take us there. And Nick Fusco, who is one of our players, he will leave here as the most decorated, is that the word?
Well, he's a kid that made all conference 3 years in a row. Nobody else has ever done that in the county.
Right,
So.
or for East Brunswick, for that matter, obviously.
Right.
And he's got more records than anyone, and he's one of the ones when they talk about the foundation of our lacrosse program, they'll talk about Nick Fusco. And with Stolzenberg coming back, we'll be okay. Of course, we're going to miss Randall Nixon, our quarterback. But, we'll be all right. And we also have the football kid coming back, Bobby Taco. So we'll be okay.
Okay, you had Andrew Mariani as well, was a super player, 24 goals,
Right.
14 assists and whatnot. Lacrosse is, it's picking up,
Right.
Duke, of course, brought
Right.
lacrosse into national attention, and I think people are paying a little bit more attention to it. Now and around the country, it seems to be picking up.
Right, and it's a tough sport, people say it's like a non-contact. There's a lot of contact in that sport, and you got to be an athlete, you got to be in condition, you got to be tough, and you got to be skilled. It's very hard throwing and catching. And if you don't grow up with it like you do soccer,
right.
It's difficult. You've got to pick it up. So we are getting the kids thanks to the Blackhawks at a young age.
Feeder program.
Yep.
Okay, great. Girls lacrosse, Cindy Turduff, 9-7, good season.
Cindy, yes. Again, Cindy's another one. How about this? Who's retired? Cindy will not be coaching field hockey or girls lacrosse for us. So
you have a job on your hand for hiring then.
A sincere thank you to Cindy. Everything
Okay.
that she's done for women's sports in East Brunswick, but especially field hockey and girls lacrosse. She has been the girls lacrosse program for the last few years. Her enthusiasm is contagious to the kids. They feed off one another, and all our success has been a result of her. She has started a youth program, so we've got the kids playing younger kids playing in leagues in the summer and in the winter indoors. And she's got 2 kids going down to Georgian Court, Jillian Pennington to play lacrosse, and Master Giovanni, who is our outstanding all-area player, going down there getting money to play girls lacrosse.
Wow, that's just great, and that's quick. The turnaround, a lot of times there are no scholarships of any kind for any of these.
No, there's
programs.
a few out there, but now there's a little connection between them, between Georgian Court and East Brunswick and Cindy. Then we had Kirsten Gash and Tuesday Rowan, who provided a lot of stability to our team. So girls, congratulations on your season.
All right, Carolina Marrero also, who chipped in with 31 goals, and they're just, again, a lot of young players, and it should make a big difference for the future.
Right.
Okay, boys track, Don Mandy 4-4. I did get to see a track meet. You and Phil Hostler challenged me to a race.
Oh, yeah, right, when we were driving around.
I can pick the length of the race.
Yeah.
Okay, boys track.
4-4, no outstanding athlete this year. It was just one of those years that there was no one outstanding, but we were solid, not exceptional. Don, before he came here, Coach Mandy said to me, watch out for the future. He said, we have 50 kids, freshmen, sophomores are on the team, runners, jumpers, spread out throughout. So he feels we're going to be pretty good in the future. Eric Sorkin he's our Wing Foot Award winner. That's given, and I can make this because tomorrow night is our banquet. I can make this. Eric is the Wing Foot Award. In most of the other sports, they give out 2 or 3 awards, most valuable, most improved.
Right.
Dudley Ty, way back in '58, said 1 award, Wing Foot. And Don has kept that tradition, so track only gets 1 award.
Wow.
It's called the Winged Foot Award, and congratulations, Eric, for being our most outstanding male track athlete.
Eric, we saw on Channel 3
with me, right?
With you and 2 other students last. Very personable young man.
Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah.
And Eric and Dan O'Sullivan, who was our scholar athlete for the county and the school, he was another outstanding track athlete for us.
Okay. Girls track, nice record. Kevin McAvoy, 7-1, and I did get to see them participate, and they were good.
Yeah, we have some nice young kids in the middle distance, although in the sprints, and we have Brittany Rodriguez in the middles. We have Naomi Stahl, and Sarah Smith is going to be there helping us out in the long distance next year. In the weights, we got Corinne, I'll get her last name in a minute, Kaminkowitz.
Okay.
She's only a freshman, did real well for us. So we got some nice kids coming in, but that's not to forget Erin Comerford, who just provided great leadership for the girls track team this year. Lauren Waite, Christine Noppenberger, happen to be related to me. But Mr. Mack, Mr. Morris, they do a great job with the girls. Mr. Sundberg with the girls. It's a great it's a great community in those with the track girls. They really get along, and it's fun watching them compete and practice.
Yeah, well, the youngsters that we saw the other week were talking about their biggest thrill, going to the pen relays and things of that. So those are things that you never forget.
The little things you don't forget that Mr. Mack does for the kids, you know. We probably didn't have much of a chance in a couple of them winning, but the thrill of them, they'll remember that the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And this was
good you pointed that out.
Yeah,
Thanks, Phil.
but there was an exceptionally strong year in track, both boys and girls, all around us. I mean, when you talk about the Old Bridge, just
kids, right.
phenomenal, and of course you had
South Brunswick,
South Brunswick and so forth. A lot of them really talented, very talented athletes and whatnot. It's just one of those years all around
You know, a
us.
few years
very
ago we
strong.
had Ryan Williams. Remember Ryan? He was an All-American at NYU this year.
Okay.
And before them we had a couple kids, Donovan, remember?
Okay.
Brian. So it goes in cycles.
It goes in
we'll have our
cycles.
kids.
That's for sure. One thing that doesn't go in cycles is boys tennis for East Brunswick. It stays the same. They're just on top.
The only constant is what?
They win.
And
Bill Pellegrino. What a gentleman. 19-2 this year. They just constantly win, and win.
Undefeated in the division, undefeated in the conference. Before the year, you know, Pelly's always, I don't know, you know, he downplays it. But
Yeah.
he puts them in the right position. And they, no superstars, you know, we'll maybe have one or two kids on the whole area. But the team concept that he preaches every point at every position, because sometimes it's your second and third singles, okay, sometimes it's your first and second doubles, sometimes it's the first singles. And he teaches the team concept, they buy into it, not that they have to, it's because they understand it, but they did a great job this year. They really, you know, kept us in the top 20 in the state. But there's one match I got to talk about. I went to the GMC finals, and Neil Mercandani, playing third singles, I believe. He's down in the last set, like 4-1 or something. And he comes back and wins. And the place, and we already won the championship.
And the place goes crazy.
So he was playing for pride.
Wow.
And I told him out of that. That's one of my highlights of my athletic career, AD career, watching him come back and what character he had. And at the end, there was no crazy celebration. He was a true gentleman. So Neil, I appreciated that, and you really represent your family and our school well.
That's nice. How long are we going to hold on to Pellegrino, who's a valuable
Pelly's
jewel?
my man. I told Pelly when he goes, I'm going.
You're going?
Yeah.
I
But
hear you.
Neil, Salil, Shane, Michael, and Eric did a great job with our tennis team, too. Congratulations to them.
Okay, super. Every now and then during a year, you have one team that captures everybody's imagination. Of course, the championship football team did it that year. The year that they won 204, was that? We've had some great basketball teams that really captured the imagination.
Right.
But you got to talk about, I guess it's Greg Root's a boys volleyball team, and I think they captured everyone's imagination. Before you get to talk about them, let me talk about them.
Sure.
After they beat Southern, who was 40-0, hadn't lost to anybody, had beaten East Brunswick twice during the year and so forth, and they had to play them, and they played them and they beat them
In two.
in two, no less. And now you got St. Peter's Prep coming up. Now I'm feeling, everything I read, everything I saw, I said this team is being set up for a loss, because you already had the championship game of a sort in the semifinals. St. Peter's Prep has got all, you know, the motivation in the world and whatnot. We're not expected to win. They're going to come in with fire and whatnot. And there's got to be a letdown of a sort for East Brunswick. But for the boys to dig deep like they did and come through and win the championship anyway, it's a special team and has to be made up of special players.
Oh, the senior leadership was really outstanding. Eric Corpus, who was MVP. Travis Heilman, you know that
Travis
name?
Heilman, I know, yes.
Travis was the player of the year by the county, by the local newspaper.
Great
He was
kid.
all conference. John McLaughlin, basketball star. Kyle Barry, who was the outstanding setter, and Samir Sood, who did more leadership for us with the seniors. That was it. The seniors wanted to leave here, and that's all they talked about. I don't think they ever lost focus. I think they may have been distracted a little bit with the prom that night.
They had the prom the night of?
Yes, of the game.
Mercy.
And you know what? Mercy. And you know, they talk about, Phil, that at the prom, a lot of people are telling me today, they're at the prom and they say, okay, well, everyone please sit, we're going to eat now or whatever, so everyone settles down. And that's when the volleyball team just happened to arrive. So they walk in with their trophy and their tuxes, and the place went,
unbelievable.
Yeah, pretty neat stuff.
That I can imagine.
3 years we've had the prom on the night of the championship volleyball. 3 years we walked in with a trophy.
Wow.
Pretty neat.
That is pretty neat. Let me ask you this. I know 6 titles already, 6 championship titles. When did, am I putting you on the spot, when did they start playing volleyball?
I think this is like our 12th year.
The 12th year and 6 titles out of 12 years. That says quite a bit. That makes East Brunswick boys the volleyball champions of New Jersey, unspoken.
Well, we have more state titles than anyone, although someone says Bridgewater has as many. That's when there was no, it wasn't run by the state, but run by the Coaches Association. And you know where they had the finals? At Bridgewater High School.
At Bridgewater.
Yeah. So, well,
yeah.
you know, I'd host it in East Brunswick if they'd let me,
Yeah.
but so it was a little different type thing, and the sport has grown so much then. But yeah, and that's not by accident. That's hard work from the kids, the parents taking their kids all over the place. For instance, in the week of July 7th, the Heilmans, the McLaughlins, a kid from Mulbridge, a couple kids from St. Joe's, they're all going to the Nationals in Tennessee for volleyball.
Is that right?
It's just like AAU basketball, Phil, which you're familiar with.
Right.
And our kids are playing all over the place. So it's good coaching, no doubt about it.
Right.
It's parental involvement and support and
Okay.
athletes. And that's the combination that we have.
It's still quite amazing. I mean, you're right. You mentioned AAU stuff. You mentioned club sports. You mentioned playing in the sand down the shore and all that kind of stuff. But still, for East Brunswick to stand out in the state of New Jersey, if you're going to talk about volleyball, you got to think East Brunswick.
Yep.
Someone may say Southern, some may say Bridgewater, and some may say some other place. But clearly, it's East Brunswick, and that's just great.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky, and you know, the board and the administration was lucky enough to see how popular it was. We'd get like 35, 40 kids come out as freshmen, Phil.
Wow.
And we would keep like 5 or 6. So next fall there'll be girls freshman volleyball, and in the spring there'll be freshman boys volleyball. So now we have 3 levels of volleyball.
Okay.
And it's just because of the popularity of the sport.
Yeah, well, it's super. We're almost out of time, Frank, but any changes for fall sports?
Well, I already told you we have a replacement for Cindy in field hockey, and you know, again, I just can't say enough about Cindy. I'm going to miss her immensely. We have a new gymnastics coach coming in. We got a new cheerleading coach coming in. Coach Perduto has resigned. So we're going to have a few new faces, and it'll be good, some new faces. The fall will be exciting. I mean, boys soccer, I think, is finally feeling that, hey, it's about time we get back on top. Coach Brady and girls soccer, you know, they've got that. They got that, you know, we're the best, and you got to knock us down.
Tradition.
The cross countries want to get back on top. Not that they were far away. And girls tennis, real good this year.
Okay.
Or we're just about everybody back. Girls volleyball, remember, they were like 18-1 last year, made it to the state finals. So, well, it'll be exciting fall. Practice starts on the 13th for football. You're always there. I expect to see you there,
You'll
Phil,
see
on the
me there again.
13th,
Right.
8 a.m., and the 20th for everyone else.
Okay.
So we're excited. I'm excited about the fall. I could use a little break in the summer, but I'm excited.
Channel 3 will be watching, and we'll be ready to report on it once the fall season is done. But once again, Frank, we want to thank you for being here and sharing your information about what happened in the spring season, and we'll look to see you in the fall, okay?
Great. Thank you.
Okay, for Frank Noppenberger, I'm Phil Hill saying join us next time.